In the world of Marvel battle, superheroes where gods, demons, and mystical warriors fight for supremacy, there is a class that doesn't need portals, hammers, or alien armor to prevail. A class forged in test tubes, in particle accelerators, in cryogenic chambers and secret laboratories. A class born of human error, ambition, or the need to protect the world when all seemed lost.
Today, we descend to the brightest and most dangerous core of science to lift the veil on the true titans of knowledge, the champions of the scientific class. They are the result of impossible experiments. Some were victims, others volunteers. But all, absolutely all, are living weapons shaped by logic, chemistry, biotechnology, and mutation. At this top, you will find everything from uncontrollable gamma beasts to brilliant minds enclosed in bodies that broke the laws of physics. From sonic manipulators to strategists who destroy with poison, slowness, or molecular precision. But before the count begins, I want to make something clear. This top is personal. I have considered both the offensive and defensive potential of each champion, in addition to its usefulness in difficult continuity, its versatility, and its impact in wars, raid fields, or missions. If you disagree with the order, nothing happens. Leave me your top 10 in the comments, but do it with respect. Here we all come to learn, share, and improve. No insults or only passion and knowledge. So prepare your in-laws, adjust the microscope, and let the dissection of power begin. Because these are the 10 deadliest champions of the science class in Marvel Superhero Battle. In position number 10, we find a brilliant mind taken to the limit of evolution. He is not a warrior, he is not a beast. He is the leader, the natural enemy of the Hulk, a being transformed by gamma radiation. Not with muscles, but with an intellect that surpasses that of any mortal. On the battlefield, the leader does not stand out for his raw damage or dizzying gameplay. No, this character is pure control and usefulness. With every second that passes, his body radiates energy, shrimp, and when he reaches 10 charges the green door, a deadly field of radiation opens that can degenerate the opponent mercilessly, if he dares to cross her in defense. This makes it a real pain in the ass. It's not enough to dodge or block. You have to watch where you're standing. Because if you get caught in the wrong place, when that door opens, you'll start melting without even realizing it. Also, when taking damage, he can activate protection, brutally mitigating the incoming punishment, and if you don't knock down at the right time, he will become almost invulnerable for a few seconds. And while the attack isn't a titan of damage, it has a purpose. With their blows, they apply spectral disadvantages, reducing the rival's regeneration and also withered, which slows down his power accumulation. The leader is a chess piece. Don't use it to crush, use it to dominate. From the frozen frontiers of the East, a warrior forgotten by time resurfaces, a red legend who has shone again thanks to his new power granted by Kaban, his guardian Ro. The shield of the people and the scourge of the unstoppable. Originally underrated by many, this exclusive fighter from Pool's Spring Offerings has been reborn thanks to his recent BUF and has become a lethal weapon in attack. Its gameplay is based on patience and perfect timing. Each time you dodge, the opponent generates ablative shield charges. This shield is not decorative. It's a time bomb, an arsenal that grows until it explodes. With the super attack, a Red Guardian applies slowness disadvantage, a vital tool for nullifying unstoppables and controlling the most aggressive rivals. And if you reinforce it with a hard hit, you update that slowness and keep the enemy at bay, but not truly devastating. It comes with super attack too. When you have reached the maximum shield charges, the Red Guardian breaks it into 1000 pieces, and for each charge he releases a wave of brutal damage that falls on the opponent like a storm of steel. It is a hit that annihilates entire health bars in an instant, and although its potential focuses on attack, its defense is nothing to be reckoned with. If you know how to place him correctly, his shield and abilities can slow down the rival enough to make him overpay. The Red Guardian not only defends, he counterattacks with a force that no one sees coming. A shield that does not protect destroys. From the hottest pages of the Marvel Universe resurfaces one of the most iconic members of the Fantastic Four, a burning legend, the Human Torch, fire-made flesh and the absolute executioner of the mystical class. Human Torch, exclusive for the 4th of July. Only the most committed were able to obtain it, but whoever does not possess a total weapon against any mystic who dares to cross his path. His fighting style burns non-stop. Each blow applies incineration, and by keeping the blow strong, peace. The corporeal nature rises, unleashing true hell on the rival. Yamanova mode is its crown jewel, a temporary transformation where every action triggers nova flames and electric stings, a combination of passive handicaps that shreds the defender's health. And even though it doesn't feel like you're hitting very hard because it's not about direct damage, it's about lingering damage, of watching the enemy crumble like burnt paper under a microscope. But this is not all. Before each fight, you can activate her pre-fight, which allows you to automatically enter Yamanova, turning all of her future incinerations into passive handicaps she calls Nova and Stings, a turbo mode that melts mystics without compassion. Although it doesn't have massive damage like another, its true potential lies in what it leaves behind. Devastating disadvantages, a constant pressure, an enemy health checker that won't stop going down. If you call there in the field, it is because Antol Sumana has been there. The enemy doesn't know what to say. He lost the match because they just burned him for too long. It was underrated. But thanks to his buff, Luke Cage has returned to the top. And not only has he come back, he has punched the door down. His youth begins with his identity stamp, an upgrade to indestructible that activates as soon as he takes the first hit, completely nullifying the damage and allowing him to take control of the fight from the first second. But Luke doesn't stop there. With each blow, it applies exhaustion disadvantages, and how much mass they accumulate the stronger. He turns his attack more than 6 charges, and the opponent receives a tier disadvantage that reduces his critical resistance to 0-1 direct sentence to the defender's health. Do you want to weaken the enemy even more? His hard blow applies the weakening disadvantage that lengthens the duration of all other disadvantages. A blow that marks the beginning of the prolonged punishment, and the super attacks are pure ass monster, with the super attack an explosion of physical damage in burst that also hide allergy to the enemy. Already has a shock in super attack 2 consumes 5 extremes to apply shock, preparing the way for more damage and new chains of control, and with super attack 3 applies trauma, making all subsequent hits. And without pretending 20% extra damage in the form of race, physics, damage accumulates like a train without brakes. Lukage is not just muscle, it is endurance, control, and progressive damage. A character who squeezes more the further the fight progresses, and who hits with tactical sense if you doubted him before. Nobody laughs anymore today. Luke Cage has proven that true power doesn't always shine at first, but when his time comes, there's no defense to stop him.
At number 6, we have the most explosive pig in the multiverse, Spider-Man. It might seem like a joke, but Spider-Man is nothing funny to anyone who crosses his path in attack. He is a real detonation machine. One of the few characters whose gross damage is based on handicaps as lethal as they are unique. The Porker detonators, yes, it sounds fun until they explode in your face.
His gameplay is simple, but with a medium-weak combo, Half Spider-Han applies Porker detonators to the opponent, and these are not just anything, they accumulate, generating tension like wet dynamite. When you have a few, throw him a super attack 2, where you will place even more detonators on the enemy, and then you just have to wait. As soon as the defender does the super attack boom, each detonator explodes, causing more damage, and I say, in energy burst and in long fights, that's where Spider-Han becomes one. An unstoppable nightmare. You can launch Super Attack 3, and when you do so, all the detonators you put in the fight are all reactivated. A total expedition that can erase any opponent with a single final blow and defense. Don't trust yourself. Spider-Jam is slippery, constantly evades, and has the ability to become unblockable if you don't keep him at bay. But most dangerous of all is that his Super Attack 2 is fast, confusing, and difficult to dodge. And if he catches you with several active detonators, goodbye to your health bar. Spielhan has shown that power can also have long and nosed ears. If you laugh at him, you pay dearly. An explosive, technical, and totally lethal character. At number 5, we have Photon, an unstoppable force of pure energy, the living storm that turns light into destruction. Boton is a beast on both defense and offense, but he's the one on defense. Where did he earn his fame? As one of the most annoying and lethal characters in the game. The blows are completely energetic, so they cannot be stopped. And worst of all, when he enters his light mode, his super attacks become unavoidable. Yeah, as you heard right, you can't avoid them. If you throw them, you eat the damage, yes or no. A nightmare in Batenos, wars, and missions with hard notes. Photon needs some preparation, but the result is worth it. In attack, As disadvantages are applied with his hits, he generates charges of light. When he reaches 25 for every 5 active charges, he gains a passive Fury upgrade that causes his damage to skyrocket to ridiculous levels. Also, with Super Attack 1 Activate Overcharge, that turns all energy, unblockable damage hits insane if you cast it with multiple charges and Furies active. Then when you cast Super Attack 2, you not only do brutal burst damage, but you also activate the Untouchable upgrade, which that the opponent hit for a few seconds, a perfect window to destroy opponents without receiving a response. Photon is light, but she is also darkness to those who face her, an untouchable, inevitable, and destructive defender, and a lethal attack with patience and strategy. In number 4, we have Seda, one of the fastest, lethal, and frantic attackers in the Marvel Universe. Bats, superheroes, and a real headache if you find her defending a node in attacks. Silk is a constant pressure machine. Game shooting requires absolute aggressiveness. Each blow you dance leaves disadvantages of physical vulnerability in the opponent. But be careful, these disadvantages are short-lived. That is why you have to maintain the offensive without rest, so that they do not disappear. The trick? Hit fast and non-stop to accumulate the maximum number of vulnerabilities. You then throw a hard hit for a Fury upgrade and chain with Super Attack 2 right after, causing the last hit to explode with a massive burst of physical damage. Yes, it's hard to master, but once you adjust to her pace, Seda becomes a killer of surgical precision and defense. He also makes war. He has a 100% illusion, which can make your punches not go in and you are sold in the face of a counterattack. And although it cools down after avoiding that margin, it is enough for you to get a super attack or a direct combo. Seda does not forgive mistakes both in attack and defense. Her speed, constant suppression, and explosion of damage make her a top-tier choice. Ideal for those who love offensive, technical, and fast games. In position number 3, we have Titania. A true force of nature designed to crush, accumulate furies, and not let any defender breathe. A scientific powerhouse in Berserker mode, brutal, direct, and scalable attack. Each Titania hit leaves disadvantages on the opponent, and for each of them, he gains charges of fury, which causes his damage to stagger sequentially and cumulatively. The more disadvantages, the stronger it becomes. But what makes her a real threat is this: by sliding forward, active, unlockable, unstoppable. Possible, and this combination allows her to enter like a train and maintain pressure without fear of retaliation every entry. This increases his combo, his damage, and his mastery of the fight with his Knock 2 activated. While she has these perks, you'll see your opponent's health bar melt, and if you decide to save for Super Attack 3, Titania unleashes a downpour on the opponent, opening the door for even more damage with more next combos. And in defense, he is also scary. Thanks to the fact that he can become unstoppable and blockable and indestructible, he is capable of breaking the attacker's rhythm, especially if you are not prepared for a miscalculation and you eat Titania's complete combo, plus some extra burst of furies and damage from disadvantages. Titania is that: strength, pressure, and total mastery of the combat rhythm, a first-rate attacker with dangerous defensive tools. Position number 2. We welcome a new Queen of Damage. Spider-Woman landed this same year and redefined the Electric Sting game, taking the throne from Spider-Ham himself, an unstoppable character in attack and terribly annoying in defense. Every 5 hits, Spider-Woman gets Fury upgrades, which boosts each attack and accelerates her offensive pace. If you do intercepts, not only do you gain another Fury upgrade, but you also upgrade the ones you already have by always keeping them at maximum. The key to his brutality with Sub-Attack 1 turns all those Furies into Electric Adhesion disadvantages that explode when the rival launches a super attack, causing massive energy burst damage. But Spider-Woman doesn't just hit hard, she hits smart. When she wins an upgrade, she leaves her opponent. Disadvantages like weakening, which increases the more disadvantages, and if the improvement is eliminated by any means, apply Withering that reduces the power accumulation. And here comes his touch of mystical control against mystical class champions. They cannot purify his disadvantages. What changes him makes him a lethal counter of this class. Plus, on defense, it's a constant pain, every 15 seconds. Spider-Woman applies entrapment and prevents the opponent from dodging attacks and stumbling that denies the dexterity. This makes fighting her a nightmare for elusive champions and forces attackers to play on her terms. And if that were not enough, her high voltage drawbacks do even more sustained damage, making her a constant threat on all fronts. Spider-Woman has arrived not only to take the podium, but to mark a new era in sting damage, a lethal, versatile, intelligent attacker and a defender who won't give you a break. And we close this scientific top with the undisputed number 1 Count Nefaria. Since her appearance in the exclusive event of the Glorious Games, Nefaria has risen as a true legend, and rightly so. She is the best character of the scientific class currently in the games. In attack, when Nefaria doesn't need complicated rotations or strange mechanics, her style is clear. Hits, builds up energy, and destroys every hit. Generates energy disadvantages in the opponent, weakening its flow and feeding Count Nefaria's internal energy. When using Sub-Attack 1 Condemn Farias, it regenerates a significant portion of the damage received and also accumulates energy charges approaching its breaking point, and that point reaches 150 charges. When you reach that figure, Sub-Attack 2 is devastating, converting 10 energy charges into a Fury upgrade. Therefore, you can reach up to 15 Furies, which translates into huge damage that wipes out entire bars of opponent's life. His perseverance, regeneration, and explosiveness make him an elite offensive choice. But in defense, the impenetrable wall with the Nasaria is not left behind. In fact, facing it can be an ordeal if you don't know what to do. His blows are of the energy type, which negates the possibility of stopping him easily. In addition, thanks to its automatic regeneration when using Super Attack 1, it prolongs fights and punishes players who do not control it well. A defender who resists comes back to life and hits like a train. With Beneficiaries, the complete package, simple to play, solid in defense, absurd in the past, and on top of that, with regeneration. For all this, he is undoubtedly crowned as the best scientific character in Marvel, a superhero battle, a true force, a nature that every player wants to have on his roster. And there you have, friends, the top 10 champions, battle scientists, heroes, villains, and unstoppable genetic forces that have left their mark on these games. From Spider-Woman, the Queen of Stings, to Condenisaria, the Master of Energy, we have traveled the path of downsides, energy, and sheer scientific destruction. Each one of these champions has their own style, their own method of dominating the battlefield, and now the question is, which is your favorite? Do you have another personal top for this class, or any character you think should have been on the list? Leave it in the comments. Remember, always orderly, with respect, and without belittling anyone, because this is a space to learn, share, and enjoy all together. If you like this video, subscribe, activate the bell, and leave your like so that continue receiving more epic content about Marvel Battle superheroes. The path to scientific power does not end here. See you in the next summoning video. And before finishing the video, thank you very much to all of you who are members of the channel this July 2025. To become a member, you have the description of the video, and many thanks to the TheShori of Ana Banana, Eliel Ramirez, and Oscar Salmeron, and Facundo Juan being an authentic Shori. So thank you very much for being members of the channel.